Hi everyone, I'm Isabel Hunt here. For those who don't know me, I am a professional coach, speaker, and published author of my book, The Power of Faith-Driven Success. See, it all even just gets out of my mind. But today I want to talk with you about the topic of how to overcome fear, really. Well, we know it's a big topic because pretty much every big guru talks about how to overcome fear, how to work through fear, how to avoid fear, how to jump over fear. I don't even know the topics that come up. And every time I hear it, I was like, no, why are we making fear or turn fear into something that it's not, into something bad? So I want to back up a little bit before we come to the fear actually and tell you a little bit about emotions. Emotions is the Latin word for emotions is emovere or emotus. I actually have the small Latin, so that's kind of helpful for me. And that means moving outward, or flowing outward, moving outward, flowing outward. That is the word emotion. So that means if we can allow each and every emotion to just flow through us, and then we are capable of really being alive and being with it. So that is simply what emotions are. So everything in life flows. It's like water, right? If a water stagnates, it eventually starts to smell, and there's bacteria growing, and it just is not really great. Like we have all the algae all growing all over, the animals die, or the fish die in the water, and it's just not great. So considering that your body is 75% water, emotions are energy. Like everything in your body is energy. So emotions that are energy, a vibration, a wave length vibrating in your body, if that stagnates, it literally starts to smell, bacteria likes to grow, you get sick, and eventually you die. And not because it's your time to die, it's because you're poisoning your body from within. Okay? So that's pretty much what we know about emotions today. Emotions are real, but they're also often misinterpreted. We know that today, as I said earlier, how to overcome emotions, fear, and anger and upset. Oh, you don't have to overcome it. It's just there. So everything you feel has a clear and meaningful message for you to understand. So experiencing negative emotions don't necessarily mean that they are negative if we change our relationship to the emotion that we experience. Okay? So it's really that simple sometimes when we talk about emotions, that we don't categorize them in bad or good or evil and good. That's what we've done in our society. We stigmatized emotions. So whenever we are going through an emotional experience, it can be quite difficult to actually know and understand what it is that we are feeling, because we have put so many labels on emotions, as we love to put labels on everything in our life, on people, on groups, on everything, literally. So for one, because it's difficult to identify often, because your body is going through a lot of different processes within just that one emotion. We think it's fear, but it might be doubt, disappointment, sadness, grief, a trigger from the past. And then we actually experience the fear, which then can translate into terror or panic. So there's a lot of processes to it, and if we don't know about it, we can't really distinguish that, and it gets really hard to even understand, what am I even feeling? What am I supposed to overcome? Right? That's why a lot of the time when people talk about overcoming fear, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work because that's not how our body is supposed to work. Secondly, because of your pre-knowledge of the way you believe you're supposed to experience emotions. Even when someone talks about fear, one person might experience it totally differently than another person. But we have that pre-knowledge, what we learn, this is how you're supposed to know how it's fear. And sometimes I'm really wondering, maybe I should do some research about that. Who defined certain emotions with a certain meaning to it? Like, who put the word fear to exactly that meaning? What if what we define as fear today is happiness? I don't know. But who put that in place? Who said that? Who translated it that way, right? I mean, in the end, it's just language. We just put a meaning to something that we experience because we think this is what it is. But emotions are really, they rise and fall. And it's really interesting because that's how our life works too. And guess what works like that too? Your heart. It's a pattern. They rise and fall. And you know the heart line, right? It's up and down, up and down. And that's literally just the pattern of life. If you look at the frequency, things that you're sending out, it's a specific wavelength. And waves, we know, up and down, right? So everything in your life works with an up and down, and that's with the emotions. You experience them, it goes up, it goes a little crazy, and then they flatten out because you let them flow through you. It's a flow that's goes through you, okay? So that's something we need to understand when it comes to emotions. The thing is, when emotions get stuck inside of us and we don't allow ourselves to experience them fully and just be with it, they eventually become a mood. Which means it's not when people say, oh, you're moody. No, you're just having an emotional discovery session, literally. But if you can work through that and it just sticks with you, like, it just doesn't want to leave you, that's when it becomes the actual mood. And that's when it can do real damage in your body, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, all of those things. That's what emotions can do, and that's how powerful emotions are. And that gives you the understanding of how powerful you are, okay? This is how powerful you are, by understanding your emotions. So, as I said, unfortunately we have accepted that stigma between good and bad, good and evil emotions. Yay, we better only be happy, we better work and overcome fear, we better not be angry because then people don't want to be with us. They're like, okay, that's everything that we've learned through our society. And often what we experience is nothing to do with other people, really. It has more to do with ourselves. So we have trained our society to either live out or repress our emotions so that others feel comfortable and want us around. That's our main goal. We want others to be comfortable with us. We want to be liked. We want to be happy and people want to be with us. We want other people to want to be with us. Okay, we want to be needed. And that's part of why we experience emotions in a different way than what they're actually meant to be. So we have accepted a society where literally shaming others for what they feel or making fun of them is more common than embracing and acknowledging them for what they actually are. Emotions are truly our native language. That's the language first learned to communicate with. I mean, a child doesn't know the words. They just express what they feel, what they want, their needs through emotion, through understanding, helping you understand what they need, okay? The language is literally ingrained inside of us, within us. That's how powerful emotions are. So let's talk about fear. What is fear actually for? Obviously, I can talk about this forever. I do workshops on this topic. I speak on this topic to demystify emotions. Really, they are not that creepy, scary. So fear. Fear is literally one of the biggest emotion most of us feel challenged with. We see it everywhere. And I said it, how to overcome fear, how to push through fear, and I can't even hear it anymore because it's usually not true. It's when people haven't even done the real research behind emotions. So what if fear is actually only an emotion to be acknowledged and honored? What would that change for us? What would that make possible, right? So when we change our relationship we have with fear, our energy level, our vibration will change as well. And others around us will respond differently, and we will be able to move through that much faster. Now here's when we feel fear as something negative, our own body frequency is very low, okay? We cut back, we let other negative emotions come in more, and when we change our relationship to fear, our vibration stays high, we are still in control, we still feel more powerful or empowered, and are responding to other people differently. We can just literally state what we feel instead of trying to make ourselves feel wrong for what we feel. So fear in general includes anxiety, worry, concern, frustration. Now I hit my camera again. Oops. Overwhelm. Those are part of fear. So when we allow fear to just flow through us, we will be able to access our intuition. Intuition, people. Focus and instinct. That is what fear is really about. Intuition, focus, and instincts. That's what it is. The feeling of fear simply alerts us and keeps us safe within an environment. We're able to be fully engaged. If, for example, people say, fear made me feel paralyzed, that is not fear anymore. That is terror or panic. That is an absolute overstimulation of your emotional system, of your system, your body system in general. That is different to fear. And you also have to understand that most people don't experience fear when it comes to business or doing something new. It's doubt. It's just something to know and to recognize. It's not necessarily fear. Fear is really something where your brain starts to recognize, I might be in danger. Let's think about which way to get out or which way to get through so we can come out on the other end. Okay? It's doubt. It's rejection. We always say the fear of rejection. That's not quite true either. It's more about not being seen. That is often what keeps people stuck, but we often combine that with the fear of not being seen, the fear of not being successful. Those two don't go together. Again, fear, intuition, focus, and instinct. It really helps us to define which way to go, what direction to go, so that we really can understand and embrace who we really are. Okay? So that is fear. We need to understand that. When interestingly, when we feel totally focused, trusting our intuition, and we believe we don't feel any fear, when we really just focus on the instinct, the intuition, this is the moment when we allow the emotion of fear to flow freely through our body. It's when we simply acknowledge what shows up. That light is literally brought into the darkness. You know, fear, often people compare that with darkness. It feels so dark. I'm so afraid. I'm fearful. But if we really let it flow through us and just acknowledge it, there's light. It's like, okay, it's really not that bad. It's just trying to show me something. Your body truly speaks to you in what direction you're supposed to go. That's why I wrote the book, The Power of Faith-Driven Success, A Journey to Living Your Dream by 30, because you are able to. Your body is telling you. You're constantly communicating with your soul and your body. And you will find the direction so much faster if you have that knowledge, that understanding. So again, we should not confuse fear with terror or panic. That is an absolute overstimulation of your whole body system. Those two, as I said, show up when nothing goes, and when your body's just saying, okay, nope, all done, total overstimulation, done. Carla McLaren says, free-flowing fear will make you intuitive, agile, balanced, and safe. It is when you start trusting yourself, God, and spirit. That's when you can experience fear fully. To overcome fear, or simply changing your relationship with fear, all you have to do is to acknowledge it as fear, welcome it in, knowing that it can't really harm you because it's what you choose, and then you thank it for showing up when you need it most. It's really an alarm system in your body. We have to understand that when we keep fear flowing through us, that it will often get uncomfortable. That's what it is, because it pushes us out of our comfort zone. It gets uncomfortable, and that is okay, and it is necessary, right? It will take control of your body and your mind for a while. So you might feel a little bit out of control because you feel fear, but you're really not. You almost like it feels like you're observing from the outside. That's all you have to do, okay? It will direct you through whatever you're going through in an amazingly creative way. if you really practice that, if you really understand that, and it goes in your mind and your heart and all that really is connected, it will show you the way in a very creative way. And that is something that I wanted to talk with you about. I actually made up some acronyms for fear. Fear. F stands for follow. If you feel fear, if you believe this is what you experience right now, see where it is located in your body. Take a second and just kind of like scan your body. Most people feel it around their chest, it gets really heavy, or on their shoulders. If that's the case, focus on that energy, okay? And then E, evaluate. What has happened that created the emotion of fear? What is your body trying to tell you? Where are you getting out of your comfort zone? If it's still in alignment, depending on which path you're choosing to go, which one is still in alignment with who you are and what you're called to do. And then A is acknowledge. A stands for acknowledge. Acknowledge that fear. Say, hey, I acknowledge you that you're there. I know there's nothing bad about you. I just want you to show me the direction I need to go to really feel more empowered. And then R is redirect. Redirect, choose the path and say, okay, I let it flow through me. I'm experiencing, it's showing me the direction. I'm listening, I'm observing, and now I'm choosing which way I want to go. And the choosing, the redirecting often works best when you declare. Today I declare what created that fear will no longer hold me back. Or today I declare to do what you experienced as I'm too afraid to do that. And you just do it. You just know your body is trying to keep you safe. That is what fear is all about. Intuition, focus, and instinct. Everything else you feel is most likely the emotion of doubt, resentment, like you don't want to feel resented by other people. So that is not connected to fear or terror and panic. And sometimes it's even sadness, that it's not the fear that you actually experience, but sadness from some experience that you had in the past, something similar that's now being triggered. So we can't just put everything under fear and then say, I'll show you how to overcome fear, because that's not how it works. So this is how we can really overcome fear, and fear no longer is scary or negative. Fear can actually be positive. So that it is for today. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about next week, but I'm sure I'll think of something. There's so much that I can talk about, and for hours. But I do have a call in a little bit, so I gotta go. But I hope this was helpful for those who watched. I can't even see who watched. I don't know why I can't see it on my page. I always can see it on my personal Facebook, but not here. Weird. Okay. Either way, I hope this really gave you some insight and fear, and you can use it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, what's Jim? Oh, yes, you're right. So many of these emotions feel similar, at least at first. Nervousness, uncertainty, doubt. As you apply the fear approach, I assume it gets better over time. Yes, definitely. Thank you for the comment. It's a practice thing. It took me so long and a lot of studying. And I think for a lot of people who listen to it at first, it's new. And they're like, yeah, whatever. I just rather listen to the gurus. But I'm telling you, fear really is not something bad. The more you know about yourself, the more awareness you have, the more you can distinguish that. This is what real personal development is about. I'm at this point now where I can't fool myself much anymore. Like I know I can listen, and my soul, my heart is speaking to me, and I know what it is. And I usually know what way to go. Okay, but it's practice. It's not something that works from one to the next. And that's great. Thank you so much, Jim, for being interactive. That's really helpful to see that people respond to it. So that's great. All right, I'll leave you guys with that. Those who have questions, you can always re-listen to it, or you can send me a message, or you can join my Facebook page, World Visionaries United. There we talk more about topics like that as well. Or I would say call me, but I'm not going to say my phone number out loud, but it's on my website anyway, so you just look on my website, isabehan.com. All right, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. I got to jump off and get some calls in, and then I'll be back next week. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.